So hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and as usual, my channel is mostly focused on explaining the 16 personality types theories as well as the anagram types, and recently I am progressing to a more self-growth and healing direction. And so if you are also interested in this content, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you would like to support me, you can find my own personality story merch store where you can wear your own personality type in a design. I'm actually wearing one of this right now. I'm going to stand up for you to take a look. It's really easy to pair with all kinds of casual wear. So remember to visit the link if you would like to support me. Okay, today this video is going to be a little bit of a deep dive right into the law of attraction topic, which has been pretty viral like for many years on both YouTube and TikTok and all the other channels. And I would like to share a little bit more about my journey through the rabbit hole. As you know, for me personally, as an introverted intuition user, for people who know about the cognitive functions of personality types, I tend to prefer like really understanding a topic by exploring it fully and instead of just dwelling on like the surface level. And it took me years to really get to the bottom of it and how we can really apply it, right, to better our lives instead of it causing more stress in the process. Okay, so I'm just going to start from the very beginning, which I assume that most people understand what is law of attraction. And if you like me to give you a brief summary, it can be summarized by this tagline: your vibe attracts your tribe. And I know this sounds really like overused, right? A lot of people are saying like, keep your vibe high and so on. And this is like an easy way to understand the whole concept, and it's not wrong. But it's basically like you attract how you feel and think most of the time. And another easy way to understand it when it comes to a more like scientific, a more like psychology based angle for people who are not maybe intuitive feeling types, for people who are more logical, you can understand it in terms of the concepts of birds of a feather flock together, or the self-fulfilling prophecy. So basically, if you look around in your social circle, right, in your maybe your job and in the people that you tend to surround yourself with, you realize that you guys tend to have similar behavioral patterns, right, and similar life struggles as well. Like for you, most likely, your best friends or people that tend to have similar points of struggle, whether it's in relationship or in career. You guys tend to be like in the same stage, and that is why you find each other relatable. Like someone else in a different stage or different types of problems would not find you as relatable in a sense. So that's like the birds of a feather kind of explanation. And another way to look at it is the self-fulfilling prophecy angle. Like if you tend to have a certain mindset about something, it tends to be what happens, right? So like if you think it doesn't work out for you, if you think that you are a failure, you tend to not take action. You tend to minimize your chances of success because you are going to act according to how you think about yourself. And most likely you're going to miss out on the opportunities that are around you. You're not going to notice them, and you're not going to take inspired action because you already don't believe that you're going to succeed anyway. So these two concepts, I feel it's really easy to help you understand the law of attraction if you don't come from like, the whole like manifesting background and you find it to be like too up in the air. Okay, so initially when I found out about this, right, and there's a lot of like advice about how to keep your vibe high, but I think that advice itself can actually add in more pressure instead of helping you, right? Because what tends to happen is that people are not able to be high vibe all the time, and so giving this advice to someone who is already struggling is sort of like asking a baby to suddenly learn to run, right? Because the baby is still learning, and you are asking him to get to the end goal, which is to stay high vibe all the time, a feat that is very seldom achievable for most people. So that actually adds in more stress instead of helping the person to get what he wants. So after that, right, after I get into the initial understanding of law of attraction, I started to get into law of assumption, which is something to like take the pressure off, right? It's like, oh, you don't have to be high vibe all the time. You can just assume anything will happen. And this I find to be very helpful when it comes to like the relatively small things in life, like things that you don't have a very strong like emotional attachment to, right? So for example, if you are trying to, you know, like get an apartment, right? You're trying to have a smooth process. You can just assume that, you know, finding an apartment is relatively easy and smooth for you, and that you will find an apartment in no time. So that's how I assumed, and that's actually how I ended up finding a really good apartment for my graduate studies. So this is something that I don't have an emotional attachment to. So it's really easy for me to just assume, right? And for other people, it could be easy to like assume that maybe you want to have a pet, right? And you just assume that you will find the right pet for you or something. It's just like random things in life, right? You can just like get it really quickly because you don't have a very strong emotional response. Okay, but the thing is, I realized what laws of assumption is also not very helpful, right? It's because there are certain things, it's not that it's not helpful, right? Knowing it is helpful for sure, but there's a certain point when I realize there is a limit, right? That I have problems, right? Actually imagining certain things to be true, and I get really easily affected when the thing doesn't really show up or when there's like delay. And that's when I started to understand the term limiting beliefs. So that is like the third layer, right? I realized that, oh, the reason why I struggle with certain things more than the rest is because there are some subjects that have a belief system preventing me, right, from getting there. And the problem with the belief system is that it works in the subconscious, right? So let's say you want to maybe like, you know, get a promotion, or you want to get a job that makes you feel very at ease, but your belief system about money is really negative. Like maybe you believe that it's bad to have money, or that you have to struggle really hard to earn a little bit of money. And if you have these belief systems, it's really hard for you to just, you know, get the amount of money you want, because your belief system is at the background, right? It's like a background control center stopping you from getting whatever that you want. So then I'm like, you know, how do I like change those beliefs, right? So this is like basically like going down rabbit hole. It's like, okay, now that I know the easy stuff, it's like I can just apply the techniques, right? I can just like use whatever that they have been suggesting in the free YouTube videos. Like, how do I deal with the things that I have a personal block to, right? And these are usually two areas, right? For most people, it's money and relationships. Because for money and relationships, there are so many internal factors, like whether it is, you know, your family dynamics, or things that you have heard in school, or it could be like your general environment. It could even be the kind of TV shows you watch, right? Or the kind of music you listen to. It's really like stopping you. It's basically sabotaging you, right? So even if, let's say, you make use of the technique, right, from one of the free contents out there, and you manage to so-called manifest like a healthy relationship, what tends to happen is that you will sabotage it in some way or the other, because your insecurities get triggered at some point, because you haven't like really dealt with those things, right? Those problems from your past. Or you get a lot of money, but then you have like the belief system in the background that it's wrong to have money. You are going to act in ways that get rid of the money. So that's what happened to a lot of people right? If they suddenly become rich but their beliefs are still stuck in the past. So eventually, right, so I'm currently at this stage where I realize what my actual issues are, which has to do with the belief system. And how do I change it, right? It's by getting the mental health, support that I need. And it's like the long process, right? And a lot of people don't want to hear about this because it's not something that will give them a very quick fix, right? People want it like overnight success. They want like, oh, I'm gonna get like a car and I'm gonna get like a mansion within like one night or within like a few weeks. But when people talk about the actual work that you have to put in, and it's not about the work, right? It's not just about like working hard, right? It's about going back and working on the kind of triggers that we have, the kind of like where we originally get those really limiting and negative beliefs about all these subjects, right? That really requires a form of mental health support. And by combining that, so for me personally, by combining that with manifesting, it has worked the best, right? It has shown more consistent results, and it's a process. It's not a very like quick fix solution. So for me personally, I think that inner child work or inner child healing, where I get to work with a professional, has done like the greatest, basically has made me see results more consistently and more sustainably, rather than just relying on like this very like, oh, I can just do this, I don't know what whispering method or like all this like new random stuff, right, that is out there in the internet. So I think at the end of the day, we really need to be honest with ourselves, right? Are we using manifestation as a quick fix? Or are we willing to step back and see what are the areas that we really do need work in? And sometimes, it does help to get some professional guidance, right? That is right for you. And obviously that will be a topic for another video because you also have to find the right resources for you. So for this video, I will be linking down what has helped me so far, including books and videos that I have watched that has really helped me to get into the roots of a lot of these things. And hopefully it will help you as well if you are also interested in this topic and would like to explore further. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and leave a comment down below if you have experiences that you would like to share in this topic. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!